Hi everyone, my name is Nurain bin Dimon. So today I'll explain about a theory, maternal role attainment theory by Ramona Thieme Mercer. I'll also be explaining a case study in which we can apply the theory to clinical practice. So Ramona focused on maternal child nursing where she's completed over 30 years of research on high-risk situations and transition into the maternal role. So let's move to Mercer's biography. Her name was Ramona Thieme Mercer and she was born on 4th of October 1929. Her husband was Louis P. Mercer and they married on 31st of December 1871 and she died on 6th August 2009 in California. So for her education and nursing career in 1950, she got her diploma in nursing from St. Margaret School of Nursing in Montgomery, Alabama. After that, she worked 10 years as a staff nurse, head nurse, and instructor in maternal, newborn, pediatric, and communicable disease nursing. And in 1960, she returned to school and earned a Bachelor of Science in Nursing from Emory University in Atlanta, Georgia in 1962. In 1964, she received a master's degree in maternal and child nursing from Emory University in Atlanta, Georgia. And after 5 years teaching at Emory, she left to study for a doctorate in maternity nursing at the University of Pittsburgh. And in 1973, she received her PhD and accepted a position as professor of maternity nursing at the University of California, San Francisco, and retired in 1987 for honors and award. She is a recipient of multiple awards and was named an NAAN American Academy of Nursing Living Legend in 2003. She also given the Distinguished Alumni Award by University of New Mexico College of Nursing in 2004 and written 6 books, journal articles, and numerous book chapters. So if you wanna know further for more details, you can click the link below. For the theory background, Mercer's maternal role attainment becoming a mother theory is based on her extensive education, her experience in research and maternity nursing. Mercer based her research on role development and system theories. Her main purpose of the theory is to define and describe maternal role binding in with the infant and achieving comfort in the maternal role. So initially, Mercer conducted a series of studies that focus on maternal role attainment in situation during the first 8 to 12 months of motherhood, and she described the process of maternal role attainment. Mercer used Tarrant and Nardi's 4 stages of role acquisition. So the first one is the anticipatory stage, second formal stage, the third one informal stage, and the fourth one personal identity. Mercer described the anticipatory stage of maternal role attainment to be pregnancy, the time of physiological preparation for the new role of motherhood. Then at birth, the mother moves to the formal stage of identifying her infant's uniqueness and begins the caretaking task by copying expert mothering behaviors and asking advice. She asks advice from friends, family, nurses, and physicians such as her baby's pediatrician. Utilization of her own judgment in how to care for her baby is categorized in informal stage. And for the maternal identity, satisfaction in maternal role is the last stages of role acquisition, which is the personal identity. So here's a few major concepts and definitions. So she described maternal role attainment as an interactional and developmental process occurring over a period of time during which the mother becomes attached to her infant, acquires competence in the caretaking task. So the next one is maternal age, and she refers the maternal age as chronological and developmental. For the perception of birth experience, she defines it as a woman's perception of her performance during labor and birth. So here, for the perception of birth experience, she said that it is a woman's perception when the woman giving birth. Next one is early maternal infant separation from the mother after birth due to illness and or prematurity. So if the baby is premature, so the nurse or the doctor will separate the mother from their baby. Self-esteem, an individual's perception of how others view one and self-acceptance of the perception. So it is how ones give views and how the other ones accept the perception. For the self-concept, in brackets self-regard, the overall perception of self that includes self-satisfaction, self-acceptance, self-esteem, and congruence or discrepancy between self and ideal self. So self-concept is just the overall perception of self that includes everything. For the flexibility, roles are not rigidly fixed. Flexibility of child-rearing attitudes increases with increased development. Other mothers have the potential to respond less rigidly to their infants. So here, as we experience now, as we age, our mothers become less assertive towards us. Child-rearing attitudes, maternal attitudes or beliefs about child rearing. So it refers to how the mother raised her child. So we know that every mothers have their own ways on how to raise their child. Health status, the parents' perception of their prior health, current health outlook, persistent susceptibility to illness, health worry concern, sickness orientation and rejection of the sick role. Anxiety, a trait in which there is specific promptness to perceive stressful situations as dangerous or threatening and as situation-specific state. So the parents have the sense of danger. For the depression, having a group of depressive symptoms and in particular the affective component of the depressive mood. Attachment is a component of the parental role and identity. Attachment is viewed as a process in which an enduring affectional and emotional commitment to an individual is formed. So attachment is like the chemistry between an individual. So for the gratification, the satisfaction, enjoyment, reward or pleasure that a woman experiences in interacting with her infant and fulfilling the usual task inherent in mothering. So gratification is just the satisfaction that the mothers got. Role strain is the conflict and difficulty felt by the woman in fulfilling the maternal role obligation. Maybe that the baby was the mother's first child, so she felt a bit difficult to in order to fulfill her role obligation. For the infant and temperament, an easy versus a difficult temperament. It is related to whether the infant sends hard to read cues leading to feelings of frustration in the mother. Maybe the mother having difficulties to interpret the baby's temperament, so can lead to frustration. Infant health status is the illness causing maternal infant separation, interfering with the attachment process. For the infant characteristic refers to temperament, appearance, and health status. For the family, a dynamic system which includes subsystem individuals like mother, father, fetus, and for dyads, mother-father, mother-fetus or infant, and father-fetus or infant within the overall family system. So the family here is the system, and the subsystem is the mother, father, and also the fetus. For the family functioning is the individual's view of the activities and relationship between the family and its subsystem and broader social unit. So maybe someone's view of the activities between family subsystem, which is the mother, father, and broader social unit here means maybe neighbors. And for the stress, positivity and negatively perceived life events and environment variables. So it is depends on the environmental variables that lead to positive and negative life perceived events. For the infant characteristic, temperament, appearance, and health status. For the culture, the total way of life learned and passed on from generation to generation. This like ethnic, social support, the amount of help actually received, satisfaction with that help, and the parents' network providing that help. So social support maybe from the family or maybe from the family support or from the parents' friend. So for the areas, so emotional refers to the feeling loved, cared for, and understood. Informational refers to helps the individual help herself by providing information that is useful in dealing with problem and or situation. Physical is a direct kind of help. Appraisal is a support that tells the role taker how she is performing in the role. It enables the individual to evaluate herself in relationship to others' performance in the role. For the mother-father relationship, it includes intended and actual values, goals, and agreement between the mother and father. For the major assumption, the first one is a relatively stable concept acquired through lifelong socialization determines how a mother defines and perceives events. Her perceptions of her infants and others' responses to her mothering with her life situation. So, the next one is the mother's developmental level and innate personality characteristic also influence her behavioral responses. So, the mother's developmental level. So maybe her development skills. Her skills also influence her behavioral responses. And the third one is the mother's role partner. Her infant will reflect the mother's competence in the mothering role through growth and development. So here it refers to the ability of mothering. Next is the infant is considered an active partner in the maternal role taking process, affecting and being affected by the role enactment. Next is the father or mother's intimate partner contributes to role attainment in a way that can't be duplicated by any other supportive persons. Like every parents, they have their own role attainment that nobody can duplicate their ways. For the maternal identity develops with maternal attachment, and each depends on the other. So the mom's identity is develops based on the infants. They depends on each other. For, for the paradigms, so paradigms is a typical example or pattern of something. So for nursing, Ramona refers nursing as a science emerging from a turbulent adolescence to adulthood. So nurses are the health professions having the most sustained and intense interaction with women in the maternity cycle. So because when a woman is giving birth, the first one who the closest person to the mother, the woman, is the nurse, and then also the doctors. Obstetric nursing is the diagnosis and treatment of women's and men's responses to actual or potential health problems during pregnancy, childbirth, and the postpartum period. So after giving birth, maybe the women and men need the obstetric nursing. For the person refers to self or co-self. Through maternal individuation, a woman may regain her own personhood as she extrapolates herself from the mother-infant dyad. The co-self evolved from a culture context and determines how situations are defined and shaped. For the next paradigm, health. For health stresses the importance of healthcare during the childbearing and childbearing process. Health status is an important indirect influence and satisfaction with relationship in childbearing families. Health status of the newborn is the extent of disease present and infant's health status by parental rating of overall health relationship in childbearing families. So Ramona says that health is the most important in childbearing process and also childbearing process. So the last paradigm is environment. Definition of environment is taken from Bronfenbrenner's definition of the ecological environment in which maternal role attainment develops. Mercer's model shows nesting of the mother and infant with the microsystem, mesosystem, and macrosystem. The model indicates the environmental factors such as social support, stress, and family functional impact role attainment. Stresses within the environment therefore influence both maternal and parental role attainment and developing child. For the theoretical assertions, the first theoretical is microsystem. So Ramona refers a macrosystem as immediate environment where maternal role attainment occurs. This indicates the family and factors such as family functioning, mother-father relationship, social support, and also stress. So this system is the most influential on maternal role attainment, and attainment is achieved within the microsystem through the interaction of father, mother, and infant. So the macro includes factors such as the father's role, economic status, values, and macrosystem is also all the elements included within the microsystem affected the transition to motherhood and are the most influential on maternal role attainment. So because macrosystem is the smallest system among the three of the theoretical assertion. The second one is the mesosystem. The mesosystem is social system that surround the macrosystem. Example, school, church, daycare, and other social systems within the immediate community. So the macro system included the family, while the meso system include the small social unit like school, church, and daycare. For the macro system, it refers to the general prototypes existing in a particular culture or transmitted cultural consistence, which include the social, political, and cultural influences on other two systems. It is the microsystem where the healthcare environment and the impact of current healthcare system on maternal role attainment originate. So maternal role attainment is a process that follows four stages of the role acquisition that have been adapted from Tarrant and Nardis in 1975 research. So for macro system here also included the two systems just now, which is the micro system and also the meso system. So we know that macro system is the largest among of them. So for the case study, so I'll read out the case study. A 36-year-old woman has just delivered her first child by a normal spontaneous vaginal delivery, a term healthy baby girl. So the G1PT0T1A0L1 here refers to the T refers to the term birth, maybe after 37 weeks gestation. For the A abortion, so since her abortion is 0 means she never having abortion, never experience it. And for the L is the living children, so we know that she got a baby girl. So her labor and delivery were uncomplicated, so there's no problem during her delivery. She and her husband, who had been trying to have a baby for years, are thrilled about the birth of this child. So they have been trying to have baby for years here, and she's discharged from the hospital on postpartum day 2. 2 weeks after discharge, the registered nurse reports to you the APN. APN is the advanced practice nurse that the patient's husband has called and is concerned about his wife's behavior. During her pregnancy, she never experienced any like weird behavior, but after giving birth, the husband started to concern about his wife's behavior. So she is crying all of the time, and last night she said she did not love our daughter and wish she had not been born. The husband thinks she is probably just exhausted and wants you to write a prescription for something to help her sleep. Okay. The APN clinical application of Mercer's theory to the case. For the assessment, what stage is she in within her journey to becoming a mother? What does her environment look like? What are her support systems? What variables or stresses are affecting her in achieving that maternal role? So the environment, support system, and the stresses also affecting the woman in achieving her maternal role. So for the planning, first we need to identify the registered need to identify the support systems, need to improve her sleep, have babysitting by pediatrician. Maybe identify support system. Maybe the support system here including the family members, the woman's friends, and need to improve her sleep. Maybe lack of sleep also can contribute to her behaviors. And for the implementation, take the plan into action. So from planning, we take it into action. So utilize her support system that have been identified. So once you Once the registered nurse identify the support system, they need to utilize her support system. And pump breast milk, husband can bottle feed baby during the night. So we know that the woman can use a machine breastfeed one to pump her milk. So during night, the husband can bottle feed the baby and while the woman is sleeping or taking her rest, taking her nap. The evaluation and follow-up has her interpretation of her maternal role improved. So if her interpretation of her maternal role improved, means that the goal has been achieved. So does she feel more confident in her ability to care for her baby by accepting the help? Let's say the mom doesn't need the help anymore, so means that she has gained her confidence and ability to care for her baby. If not, what is the next step? Is medication necessary at this point? Maybe the registered nurse can give medication to the women. So that's it from me. Thank you. If you have any question, you can ask me. Okay, you are free to ask me. Bye.